Hey guys, thanks for joining me on this Take 46 attempt at what is a farm business manager program. It is a lifesaver. It is a fantastic program. Some farmers are great managers. They can sit down, they can use a FinPack or a QuickBooks program, and they've got time and they've got that's their passion or their strength is to sit at that desk a couple hours every week or a couple hours every day, depending on what their farm is, and crunch numbers and just simply put the checkbook into, every check wrote out today, let's enter it in the computer. Every invoice that came in today, let's put it in the computer. Every check received today, let's put it in the computer. Some farmers are great at doing themselves. Some farmers are great at milking a cow and growing a corn plant. So for them farmers, or like us, I work, both me and the wife work off the farm full time, and then we try to run the farm. Time left for business management isn't always there. And as a young farmer, when we bought some land, our very first fields that we bought, the bank says, we want you to enroll in this program. And at first I was just like, oh God, no, another government program. I'm so sick of these things. But it's turned out to be fantastic experience. If you are not in a farm business program and you are a farmer, I would look for one in your area because it is a fantastic lifesaver. On the farm, we have 100 things going on all the time. There is always money flying out, and there is sometimes a little money flying in. And we need to keep track of all that. Just like I keep track of how many seeds I put down with the planter through my Ag Leader and spatial management software, I keep track of seeds and chemical and fertilizer and grain harvested on a per acre basis. We're keeping track of all of these things behind me here. We'll talk about it in a second on a per acre basis, and it just helps make good decisions. And so what are some of the things that we're looking at all the time? We have non-direct or indirect crop expense type stuff, and that is like our house mortgage, any interest on loans for our jet ski and our boat and our watercraft or whatever the heck we buy, as we have our home and equipment insurance. We have our cost of living, our groceries and our gas and stuff like that, just to be alive, our cable bill and all that kind of stuff. And then we have more crop related expenses is the land payments, interest on the land payments. We have our crop insurance expenses and incomes. We have drying, trucking, fuel per acre, fuel highway, we have off-road fuel and we have on-road fuel to keep track of. We have our seeds, our fertilizers, equipment payments per acre, equipment interest per acre on anything borrowed money. We have equipment repairs per acre. We have hired labor and storage. And then we also have incomes. How much corn did we sell? Beans, alfalfa, wheat, barley, whatever did we sell? Did we work for a neighbor for custom hire income? Did we sell a piece of equipment? Do we owe capital gains tax on that equipment? All of that stuff is helped through the Farm Business Management Program. And that list, there is a ton more than that list right there. So what we do is, how does the Farm Business Program work? Let's start at the first of the year. At the first of the year, we do a previous year analysis. That gives us a field by field cost and production to create an income or a loss for each field. And that works good because after several years, you start to see a trend. Is this field consistently making us money, or is this field consistently losing us money? If that field or farm or whatever it is consistently losing us money, we can analyze why. Are we just simply expecting too much production out of it? Is it a lower production piece that by simply pulling back inputs would start to generate some actual positive revenue? Or is it something that we've already tried that? We've tried soil amendments, and it is just a bad piece of ground, and we're better off to walk away from it. That we will make more money by farming less acres because that farm always loses us money. And we did that. We had 3 fields that every year lost us money, The rent was not very expensive on it. Even with free rent, I got in the argument with the landowner that even on free rent on a 5-year average, these fields are losing us money. And so we just simply walked away. Like nothing personal. That's not a good business decision to keep going in to lose money. So you start to get that analysis every year. And where that leads to is that on the first of the year, we do a balance sheet. So we do our analysis. We also do a balance sheet. And the balance sheet is basically what are everything you own, what is it worth, and do you owe money on it? And if you owe money, how much on every loan we have? And so then you start to get an assets and liability, kind of see where you're at as an overall production of the farm. You can start to see, are things getting paid off? Are bills getting paid down? Are we gaining assets? Are we growing in our net worth? Things like that. And then we look forward to a projection. So based on them years of analysis, whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, you can start to show a trend there. And then you use that to go into your 2018 analysis. So this 5-year analysis behind us says we're 140 bushel corn ground. So going into 2018 projections, we can tell the bank, well, we're banking on 140 because we've done it for the last 5 years. And we're banking on 35 bushel beans because we've done it the last 5 years. And we know that our repair bill is going to be roughly this because that's the 5-year average. And things that you can't control, but since you have an average, it really helps you kind of grasp or get control of them because you've got the history there. The great part about this is then we go into spring production, we get our crop in, and then after spring production, we sit down and we look at it again. Okay, the crops are up and running, everything's fertilized and sprayed for the most part. How did it turn out? Did you had a corn seed budget? Did you stay within it? Did you come in extremely less than we thought? Did you come in way over budget? If you came in over budget on anything, can we hopefully make that up through a great weather season or through marketing? Can we take advantage of marketing? Come fall time before harvest, we look at it again. Okay, we're coming into harvest. How is everything looking? If the crops are looking average or what we expected, but we did a good job of marketing, we were able to grasp. If the bank said you could use 320 corn and we were able to do a lot of 350 contracts, there's 30 cents a bushel to our favor, so we can actually kind of relax and be a little positive going into the fall. If it looks like 100 bushel corn going into the fall, one, we get our insurance agent involved, but two, we can start to try and prepare for that impact. Like, okay, we know this is not going to be a good fall. Let's circle the wagons and see what on earth we can do so when the dust settles, we can still be alive for the next year. It is a tremendous tool. And then they also have a program inside the business management program. Part of that is a FinBin program or part, what I don't know what you call it. And what that does is compare to all the other people under that instructor. And so it shows cost of living. How do me and my wife have no kids and we live in a little tiny house and we do nothing for eating out and going to fast foods and stuff like that. We're not traveling all winter going on ski trips. So our cost of living is rock bottom compared, the homeless people cost more than we do compared to the rest of the people in the class. But if you have people up here with 4 kids, 3 of them are in college, their cost of living is through the roof just because of that. They're paying for college, they got them extra vehicles and all that stuff. And it makes sense, not that one's doing any better or worse than the other, but it just shows the difference in cost of living. It shows the difference in direct crop expense. Even for myself compared to myself, we can look back at 2011 and 12 and 13 when we were doing full tillage. Our cost per acre to put in that crop was up here, and now our cost per acre to put in a better crop is down here. We're well under $100 an acre less expenditure than we were 5 years ago, mostly because of this program has gave us the confidence to keep moving forward with this soil health type farming. And that's great too. I don't know what more to say about the program. It is just a tremendously life-saving thing. The other thing is it's a great tool. If a neighbor's getting close to retirement or thinking about retirement, I can go to him and, hey, Bob, what do you think you would want for rent? And how many tillable acres you have? And he says, well, I got 200 tillable acres and I want $70. Okay. And then we get his average production, and I can send that data to my farm business manager guy. And he adds that 200 acres into our cash flow using the guy's historical production or our historical production or a compromise between the two, and does a cash flow at $70 rent, does a cash flow at $170 rent, does a cash flow at zero rent. Maybe it needs to all be put to beans, or maybe it all cash flows very well on corn. We can throw some soil tests in there as well, and that will give us the amount of fertility that this needs. And then that we can adjust our cash flows for that. Instead of using co-op recommended type fertility program, we can go more of a, well, he's been fertilizing it very well for the last 25 years, but he's never really been pushing the ground for production. So it's very high in P&K. So we can actually get through for several years of kind of mining the soil or running a reduced P&K program. How does that cash flow? Does that $40 an acre in savings, does that help make it a cash flow? And then he can get back to us like, you bet. You offer him $70 or 170 or 270, whatever works, and you get that ground because that ground helps you bar none. Or he looks at it and says, at them production numbers, that ground ain't gonna work it. At free rent, that ground isn't gonna pay for itself and just run away. So it is a tremendous tool there. Remember, everything around the farm here is just tools, and we use all these tools to try and keep this machine going. So I don't know what more to say about that. I love the program. The program is extremely helpful. I am very business oriented. I love crunching numbers. I love sitting down and talking about, $4 an acre diesel fuel and things like that. But I'm not the greatest guy to sit down every week at home and enter the check register and stuff like that. And so the farm business manager, he helps so much. And then with the banker, when we go into the banker, they don't see that John's just been writing a balance sheet for 5 years. They see it's actually through a college. It's a real program. It's a guy that has a great reputation. So when he sends his information to the bank knows this is true and valuable information, and it is great data. And before this program, we used to go to the bank and they're just like, yeah, what else you got? Now, we don't even see the banker. All this stuff gets emailed right to the bank, and the bank just looks at it all. Yep, okay, your debt to asset ratio and all these 1.6s and minus 2 points and all this and that, and banking numbers. They see that looks okay. At the end of our projections, we show a positive. Here's your 2018 crop loan. Sign it. Let's keep moving next. So it's a great program. I love it. Don't know what more to say about it. Thanks for listening to me ramble, guys. If you're not using one on your farm, I 100% would look into it to see if they could help find you money. Thanks for watching, guys.